know the old joke.
Okay, just remember, same thing on this. You got to remember to, these have a plastic liner in them, and not all of them do, so just make sure that there's a little bitty slit right in the bottom so you get good drainage. Okay? Okay, the one thing with these, no, we don't have to use styrofoam, okay? Because they're not that deep, and they're going to be hanging, so maybe hard to water, kind of in more difficult spots, so we want to use as much soil in these as possible. And this is the one time that I'm actually not going to fill it too up. I'm going to do a shade basket, and I like to start with Diamond Frost because it will do some partial shade, putting it in the middle, and usually 10 to 12 inch you need 5 plants. If your baskets aren't doing wonderful, sometimes it's because you just don't have enough in them. Most of the ones we have here will start with 6 to 7. They'll be small, but that's how you get them big. I use the domino, you know, 1 and 2 on the outside, or 4 on the outside. And it's a little bit of a packing effect here.
What are those?
These are double impatiens, and you're going to push them and kind of make them flat so they slide in here better.
Can you explain the domino?
Okay, you know on the number 5 domino, how you have 2, 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to kind of, or an X. Okay, I'm going to use the X pattern.
Do you use that on all hanging baskets, or?
If you're going to use 5 plants, it works. If you're going to use 6, it's a little more difficult. You kind of have to stagger them, and you don't actually put one in the middle.
Okay.
And then once you get this side in, it's just a matter of kind of pushing that Diamond Frost back to the middle. Same thing, you got to kind of flatten this out just a little bit so it's not so round.
So in other words, you can really work the plant. They're not
Right.
fragile.
Not as fragile as you think they are. Now, the thing with this is that I made this one. The Diamond Frost is not made to necessarily be taller. It's made so that it eventually will fill out in all the little open areas. So you get this little pink and white, and then you get some little Diamond Frost around it.
Those are good for shade too, I think.
Yes. Well, they'll do shade or sun. And this is really more of a, this is not full shade. This would be like a morning sun, afternoon shade. The Diamond Frost doesn't actually like full shade. And then I'm just filling in basically the open holes between each plant. And the same thing, it's really not a packing effect. And probably what I would do with this one is go in and just trim him just a little bit. See how he's kind of got a little longer shoot on him? And that's just going to make him fill out a little quicker. And I've got one short one, and normally it's best to pick things that are all the same height. I just grabbed 4 when I was over there. So.
Do you, when you pick out flowers for a hanging basket, is it different than a container?
It is a little different because you can have something tall in the middle, kind of like that, not like a drummer, but kind of like your rock star singer. You can do something like a Penta or Lantana or something like that in the middle. You don't really want to do Coleus because the Coleus is going to get so tall, but then you want to do Traley. Now this is kind of a mid-season or a mid-style one. It's going to just kind of fill out and drape a little bit, and I'm going to do a drapey one here. So
that white stuff in the middle, it's not going to get real tall.
It's not going to necessarily get tall. It's going to find all the open areas and kind of fill out and find the open spots. On the cone planters, if you wanted, you could put a little bit of styrofoam in the bottom, but not necessary. Same thing on it. You have to make sure that there's a hole. See, this has holes in it, but there's not really one in the very tip. So,
Why is that important?
So the water will drain out and not hold and drown your plants.
Okay. That explains a lot.
Okay.
Why my plants die continually.
The other thing you'll notice is that most of our green hanging baskets don't have bottoms. A lot of times they come with a tray underneath them. We prefer that they grow like that. I think they do a lot better. perfect example is we potted a couple up early for a lady, and we noticed after about a week they were not really doing much. Well, when we got to looking, we forgot to pop the bottoms off of them, so they were sitting in water. We had cloudy days.
We all go.
Okay, I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm going to use like a penta in the top, and these pentas only get about 12 inches.
Full sun.
Full sun. And I'm going to fudge a little bit here, okay? Because of what I have. So we're going to do one a little trailing. Just switch. We're going to do shade again. Shade. And this is an angel wing begonia. Just going to be foliage with a little bit, you can see the little pink bloom, it's just going to give you a little bit of bloom, but I'm just going to use it for a base in the middle again. Terenia is one of my kind of favorite shade plants. Trails real good. And the thing with those is you want to just kind of get them, again, same thing, we're going to kind of make them flat, get them kind of flop to one side. The trick with trailing is to make sure that you kind of set them back a little bit, kind of towards the center, so that you get the full look, because if you plant them like that, then you kind of get this open area. So we're going to set them back a little bit. And it comes in a yellow. Yellow's hard for shade. Same thing.
Why is yellow hard for shade?
It's just there's just not a lot of yellow shade plants out there.
Interesting.
This is lobelia.
Is that all good for full shade?
These will all do full shade, yes. These are actually two different types. Compact lobelia, trailing lobelia. Okay, same thing on this one. I'm just filling in. There's open areas between each plant. And on the trailing ones, you're going to have to try to kind of pull those up and open up that area. And it's just about a handful between each one. Okay. And then I like to finish all of them off with a little bit of Osmocote, because you don't have to worry about feeding them all summer. This is 60 days, so that gets you through about 2 months. And then probably the most difficult thing is coaxing the hanger around the plants. And they are a little tougher these. It's just a matter of kind of getting some so you have, or the hanger's not. And I did shade ones because we're low on shade plants and baskets. So. And these, I think it's just a matter of picking out things you like. I don't necessarily think there's a color range. I think it's just your own personal preference. It's mainly more getting things that like sun and how much sun. You can actually do lantana in a hanging basket if you wanted to, if you had really full hot sun. Petunias make really great hanging baskets, but you do have to keep them pinched. Last year we started hanging baskets, our petunia baskets, really early. This year we did a little later. I think they're a little easier to take care of. I think when they get so big they get root bound. So, thanks. Okay, that's it. So I know I've got a couple of